Okay, we're going to start off our meeting by making certain that Commissioner Simmons is in communication with us.
I am here, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you very much, Chris. I hope you're deployed in a nice warm spot because it's pretty cold here in Battle Creek. Chris Simmons is deployed and he'll be operating through the Zoom on our electronics channel, so we need to be careful. Just make sure we include him on everything. So we're going to call to order the City of Battle Creek, Michigan Battle Creek City Commission meeting for April 15th, 2025. It is 7 o'clock. We're going to stand for a moment of silence, and then we'll have our Pledge of Allegiance. And I'm going to call upon Commissioner Reynolds to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Could you please stand if you're able to for a moment of silence? Commissioner Carlo Reynolds.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner Carla Reynolds. We will now move on to our agenda with a roll call. Madam Clerk, when you're ready.
Commissioner Tarski-Smith?
Here.
Commissioner Lacoste?
Here.
Commissioner Lance? Commissioner Morris?
Here.
Mayor Banky?
Here.
Commissioner Reynolds?
Present.
Commissioner O'Donnell?
Here.
Commissioner Simmons? Commissioner Simmons?
Let's mark him present.
Okay. And Vice Mayor Sophia?
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. Next item on our agenda is our proclamations and awards. We have several beautiful Battle Creek awards. We're going to bring everyone up at the same time, so I'm going to ask our city manager to introduce those people, and then Carla will help me distribute these.
Thank you, Mayor. So our first nomination is from NPC 1. It's a Ward 2 nomination for Jack and Rachel Childs at 387 Main Street. And we have a nomination from NPC 1, Ward 3, Ramon Rangel from 236 Lathrop Avenue. From NPC 5, Ward 1, nomination for Speed's Coffee Shop at 1525 West Michigan Avenue. NPC 11, Ward 4, nomination for Vintage Vibes at 2505 Capitol Avenue Southwest.
Thank you very much for being here.
NPC 11, Ward 5 nomination, Marcy Howard at 1000 Capitol Avenue Southwest. NPC 1, Ward 2 nomination for Martin Rangel at 69 High Street. And then finally, NPC 5, Ward 1 nomination for Kenneth and Peggy McDaniel at 36 Myrtle Avenue.
Thank you, Jim. Okay, good. Can you talk about it? Well, we want to thank the beautiful Battle Creek Award recipients tonight. This is one of my favorite awards that we distribute on a monthly basis because I think there's so much energy behind it. People see individuals working out in their yard. For instance, Marcy is out there during the summer all the time. I mean, I drive by and she's working very hard. If it's not blowing leaves or working on the grass, she's doing something in the yard. And I think that's so impressive. And I think that inspires other people to do the same thing. And even if businesses receive a beautiful Battle Creek Award, it's to beautify our community and beautify Battle Creek. So I'd like to just take a couple minutes and pass the microphone to each one of you just to talk a little bit about what you do to make your home or your business a little bit better.
So we are Vintage Vibes of Battle Creek. We are at 2505 Southwest Capitol, as Mayor Benke said. I'd like to thank the mayor and the commission and our neighborhood planning commission for nominating us. I was going to have all of our artisans here that also have space in our store, but they're not here, but I would like to thank them. They have agreed with us in our mission to, what we do is we donate our profits to fight human trafficking causes. So that's what we do for our community. So, thank you for the award and the opportunity.
Well, thank you for your business in our Battle Creek community. It's very important. Marcy, would you like to say a couple things?
So if it's okay, I want my dad to come up too, because he's been this like amazing, he's helped me so much. So yes, I'm out all the time. My favorite thing is my leaf blower. It's true. I use it all the time. I use it inside the house and outside the house. But I bought the house because I actually have lived in California, New York, Chicago, but I was born and raised in Battle Creek, and I wanted to have a home here so I could be closer to my family as I got older, and we all get older, and I wanted to just be closer to them. And as I bought this house, and it's beautiful, it's been in the city forever, and it's just one of those homes that as I drove by as a kid, I always remembered it. And I saw it, and I just wanted to make it mine, and but continue to make it beautiful and make, I guess, people proud and me proud of it. And also, I am a little obsessive about things, so just a tiny, tiny bit. So I'm so excited about this, and I was a little tired, and then I got this, and I was like, oh, okay, it's on. It's so on. It's so on.
You are great. Thank you very much, Marcy. Jim, would you like to make a couple comments?
All right, we have three beautiful Battle Creeks here for the Neighborhood Planning Council. Number one, Post Franklin. The Childs, probably any of you that travel up and down Main Street, have seen a lady with her cart and a walker and a orange reflective vest. That's Mrs. Childs. She and her husband travel up and down Main Street picking up debris and a sundry of goods and items that shouldn't be there, so they clean up. But they got a vacant property at the corner of Post and Main a few years ago. It's on the right-hand side if you're traveling northward, left-hand side if you're going southward. But they transformed it into a pocket park. The idea being is something in the neighborhood to make something look nicer. So that's why they got this nomination from the Planning Council, is because that's something paying forward, basically. The other recipient is a gentleman, Mr. Angel. It's a property he owns up on Lathrop, so that's why that one got nominated. And the one on High Street. That area of the city is really, really neglected because a lot of people don't look at it because it's tucked back there near the cemetery. So the gentleman that got the nomination takes beautiful care of his house in that area. And there's so few houses left because a lot of them were demoed due to dereliction of ownership and the like, but still, he does a very good job of taking care of it. So we wanted to recognize him, and that's why we put in that nomination. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jim. Jim is the NPC chair of the Post Franklin Neighborhood Planning Council, and he's been there as a member and as a chair several years, and we want to thank him for his service. And I also want to mention that 89 Lathrop, if you're out on a Sunday drive and have no place to go, check it out. This lady built a brand new house in one of the most depressed areas in our community, but it's beautiful, and she's energizing other people to do the same thing. So 89 Lathrop, if you get bored on a Sunday and just want to go for a Sunday drive. Each and every one of you, thank you very much. I love the words that were spoken here today. Thank you. God bless you. We have four proclamations, and our first one will be National Volunteer Week. Do we have anyone to receive this, National Volunteer Week? We We want to thank everyone who volunteers in our community, and this is what we do during the National Volunteer Week 2025 with the theme, Volunteers Make Waves. Remember that one act of service, big or small, can make a difference. And we thank everyone who volunteers in Battle Creek. Well, I know I saw a lot of the community development people here, so could we have a few of you come up? There we go, thank you.
Do you want everybody who received community development funding currently to come?
Absolutely, let's talk about
We
it.
have some grantee or some recipients in the audience.
And as the director, are you prepared to say a couple words?
Hi, my name is Helen Guzzo, and I am the manager of community development for the city of Battle Creek. We run the community development block grant program, the home investment partnership program, and we have a number of state and federally funded lead abatement programs. And it is the 50th anniversary of the federal community development block grant. So this poster right here shows our president from Michigan, Gerald R. Ford, signing the Community Development Act in 1974. So I don't normally wear t-shirts to commission meetings, but Community Development Block Grant, it's a classic since 1974. It's the 50th year of funding this year that the city have received funding. We run a minor home repair program. Last year we fixed 85 homes with roofs and furnaces. We usually do about 40. We also fund a little bit of code compliance. And our home investment partnership funds Habitat for Humanity. They're building new homes in Urbandale neighborhood, and 2 of those homes are being built with federal dollars through our program. And the Haven of Rest has a home ARP. We help provide supportive services, community action here. We have a partnership with the minor home repair program, and they do the lead abatement in Calhoun County outside of the city of Battle Creek. So these are our great partners, our code compliance. We fund about 22 to 25% of their budget. The code compliance efforts that happen in our lower income neighborhoods are funded with community development block grant programs. And HUD sent a certificate recognizing that 50th anniversary that we've had 50 years of funding of these programs. So Marcy Judd is my supervisor. Do you have anything you want to say?
Ellen, you've done a great job. I want to thank each and every one of you for being here. I do not plan on staying. You guys can leave as soon as your boss leaves. Oh yeah, we can take a picture.
You got to get together like you won a national title like the other night. Get together. Yeah, you got to get in close. Hold Gerald Ford up high.
Yeah.
That's it.
Thank you, everyone.
Oh,
Appreciate you.
thank you. Arbor Day.
Arbor Day. There we go. The importance of trees and the quality of the environment is recognized by the designation of April 25th, 2025 as National Arbor Day. Could you tell us a little bit about what's going to take place?
Yeah, so Arbor Day is April 25th, which is next Friday. We'll be planting trees at Claude Evans through Calanova, and their team have donated 10 trees as part of the Claude Evans reconstruction. I don't know if you guys, it's still ongoing, but we're getting close to finishing it up, and that's how we're going to celebrate Arbor Day this year.
You're getting closer to retirement?
Closer, yeah.
Todd and I go way back, so this is why I'm kidding.
Yeah.
But on behalf of the citizens of the city of Battle Creek, we say thank you very much for continuing to have Arbor Day, and I think we're still a tree city.
Yep. For
how many
25.
years? 25 years.
Yep.
That's a long time. Thank you, Ted.
Thanks, Ted.
Congratulations. Thanks, Ted. And then we have Workers' Memorial Day. Do we have any representatives of this organization?
Well, they didn't call?
Thank you. On April 28, 1971, Occupational Safety and Health Administration Act, OSHA, went into effect, promising every worker the right to a safe job. And whereas every year on April 28th, communities and work sites around the world honor friends, family members, and colleagues who have been killed or injured on the job. And whereas U.S. Department of Labor and the Federal Bureau of Labor Statistics estimates that Michiganders have died while on the job of an average of 147 people per year over the past decade. It continues on, and we say the City Commission of the City of Battle Creek renews our efforts to seek stronger workplace safety and health protections, better standards and enforcements, and fair and just compensation by redirecting ourselves to improving safety and the health of every workplace. Thank you very much, Commissioner Morris. I appreciate it. Thank you, Dick. Thank you, everyone, for making that nice and lively. I really appreciate it. Next item on our agenda is Chair noting any added or deleted resolutions.
Resolution 113 was added.
Thank you very much. Next item on our agenda is petitions, communications, and reports.
There were none.
Thank you. Next item on our agenda is public comment regarding any remaining agenda item. If you'd like to make a public comment regarding any remaining agenda item, please raise your hand and we will acknowledge you to come forward to the podium. You will have 4 minutes to make your comments. Please state your name and address before beginning your comment and indicate which agenda item you are speaking to. If you're looking to make comment on the public hearing, that will be coming up on the next agenda. Yes, Autumn Smith.
Good evening, Autumn Smith. I'll be speaking on Resolution 113. I want to note you failed to give me proper notice of my FOIA appeal hearing, so I'm going to rush through this because I'm being given a shorter period of time. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to address this matter. I am appealing my denial of FOIA Appeal 257076 by the City of Battle Creek. On March 17, 2025, I submitted a FOIA request seeking all cold case spreadsheets and lists located in the P drive and/or secured server. My request was denied on April 8, 2025, with the agency claiming the requested documents do not exist. This is demonstrably false. I am holding, right there on that board, those documents that you were saying do not exist. I am here tonight to appeal the city's denial. As a citizen of the community and aware of organizations such as the Sisters, started by the late Rosetta Brewer, I had requested a copy of the BCPD's list of all the unsolved cold case homicides, so to see how many we have in our community. In my many interactions with our BCPD members, I was made aware that if any spreadsheet list existed, it would most likely be in the cold case office, the detective's office, records division, or a secured server known as the P drive. The city denied my request, stating no such list or server existed. However, as you can see, that is not true. The list clearly shows the Battle Creek Police Department and City's Attorney's Office work hand in hand to lie about public records. The mere fact that families who start organizations to keep awareness of their deceased loved ones can't get accountability from the police department or city government, it expressly erodes public trust. Had a denial of my request simply indicated the server contained active investigations or another entity that I had mentioned previously provided this list, I would not be standing here tonight. This fraud is a violation of anyone's involved oath of office, as well as criminal violations for lying on government documents and providing false information in FOIA. If these actions committed repeatedly by the police department and city government, then I'm repeatedly in these meetings advocating for our community. The community hears time and time again that these are mistakes and that we'll do better in the future. At what point does the city admit that these aren't mistakes, but blatant patterns of behavior that this commission refuses to hold those responsible accountable? You ask the community to believe in Battle Creek. When do we get to start to believe that the citizens can trust their local government? This situation raises serious concerns about the transparency and accountability within this government agency. The FOIA process exists to ensure openness and public access to information, yet this denial undermines those principles by misrepresenting facts, obstructing access to records that are legally required to be disclosed. I would like to emphasize this. The documents exist. Violation of FOIA obligations. Under FOIA, agencies are obligated to conduct a thorough and reasonable search of responsive records. Public interest in disclosure. The requested records pertain to this subject matter, and there's nothing on here that Nixle would not provide to Channel 3 News. Nothing. The false claim, this is intentional misrepresentation and negligence on your guys' part, which is also a criminal offense. 75505, that's an MCL criminal offense for public officials, misconduct in office. I urge this commission to uphold the principles of transparency and accountability by reversing the denial of my FOIA and instructing the agency to release the records, all responsive records to my request. In closing, I want to remind everyone here that FOIA is not just a bureaucratic process. It is a cornerstone of democracy that empowers citizens to hold their government accountable. Denying access to the records through deception erodes public trust and violates the spirit of open governance. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
Well, thank you for your comments. Are there any other public comments at this time? Seeing none, we'll move on to our agenda. Petitions, communications, and reports. Excuse me? All right. Next item on our agenda is a public hearing. Madam Clerk, when you're ready.
This is a public hearing to obtain community input on the city's 2025 through 2029 Consolidated Plan and 2025 Annual Action Plan for the Federal Community Development Block Grant Program, or CDBG, and the Home Investment Partnership Programs.
Declare the public hearing open. If you'd like to make a public comment on the subject of this public hearing, then raise your hand and wait for us to acknowledge you to come forward to the podium, where you'll have 3 minutes to make your comment. Please state your name and address before making your comment. Staff will provide a short presentation. Helen, are you going to be that staff member? Yes. Okay, thank you.
As we just previously talked about, the Community Development Block Grant Program is a program the city has had for about 50 years, and the Home Investment Partnership is a 30-year program that we have. We get about $1.2 million in Community Development Block Grant. That went much farther 10 years ago, 20 years ago. We've been flat funded. It hasn't increased much. Actually, in 2012, because I took in more entitlement communities, we were getting about 1.8 million. It went down to 1.2, and that's about we fund the mine home repair, code compliance, public services. We funded a variety of things through the last 50 years, much of it home repair based. And then the Home Investment Partnership is about $300,000, and we've been spending that with Neighborhoods, Inc., with the tenant-based rental assistance program to help folks recover from homelessness. And then we've funded Habitat for Humanity to do, first they were doing rehabs of vacant homes, and now they're building new homes because we have a shortage of housing. So we're going to have people talk about the needs. The consolidated plan is not complete yet. It'll be drafted in the next 3 weeks, and it'll go on the city's website. And then it is our 5-year plan of how we spend dollars. It's kind of a broad analysis of the housing and community development needs of the community, and all the comments here tonight will be reflected in that, and that will come to the City Commission for approval in June. So you saw in the notes, and it was published in the paper, our proposed use of funds, which is part of the annual action plan. So this is all part of the citizen participation process that's required to spend HUD dollars. So, thank you.
Ellen, thank you very much for your comments. All right, do we have anyone who would like to make any comments on the community development? Jim, and we'll go to the man in the middle, and then back over here on the side.
Jim Marino, 451 Main Street, Battle Creek. The items here that are the priorities that are going to come out in the consolidated plan that Helen mentioned. Basically, the ones that we really in our NPC area are strongly in favor of is ensuring housing is safe, affordable, and accessible. We've all heard housing today in this country is something that is, to be desired in some cases, And others, people will be willing to take whatever they can get because they don't have a home. So we need to make sure it's safe, affordable, accessible for everybody. The second item is to activate underutilized properties. As I mentioned when I accepted the beautiful Battle Creeks, the Franklin area here in the city, it's horribly, horribly neglected because a lot of the properties there basically fell in disrepair to the point such that they had to be bulldozed. If you ever drive along High, Horton, Warren, you see huge stretches of vacant property. So part of the priority here is to basically reactivate those areas for housing. And that's one thing that we as the Planning Council are working with the land bank and the city planning department to identify those properties that can actually be reallocated back into use for homes. We just need to get developers the ability to find the profitability to build those homes. We're hopeful we're going to get there. And the other one is to increase public awareness and community engagement through collaboration and empowerment. NPCs, City Commission, and a host of other public service entities. We're hoping that this can become a priority so everybody's working together and collaborating so at the end, we're all working together as a community and not little micro pockets here, where, and there. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim, for your comments. Thank you, sir.
Good evening. I guess I'm the man in the middle. I don't know if it's good to be the middleman, but at any rate, Robert Elkert, Director of the Share Center in Battle Creek. I want to thank the commissioners and Mayor Banky for having us here. Thank Helen for the work that she's done on the community development block grants and the other grants and the funding that she brings to the city. For those of you who don't know, the Share Center has been the drop-in and the day shelter for Calhoun County for over 30 years. Most of the people that we serve meet HUD's definition of chronically homeless, so they've been homeless for more than a year and they're struggling with a mental health and/or substance use issue. I've come here tonight to speak on behalf of this population because they are often the most vulnerable and the most disenfranchised. This is really important because the public survey that was released was not really accessible to the homeless population, as many of the questions didn't really apply to them. And then the Community Development Proclamation makes it clear that this distribution is for all Battle Creek residents. And so I want to make sure that the homeless and chronically homeless people that we serve are included as much as possible. So my overall concerns are, and I know there's only so much money available, but it doesn't feel like the proposals provide enough needed assistance to the homeless and chronically homeless population. Because without a stable living environment, recovery is almost impossible. And I look at it like a traffic circle. We see people all the time that are doing everything they can possibly do, but there's no housing at the end of it. And it's just like a traffic circle, no exit. And it causes recidivism, it causes relapse, and it costs the city money. So there seems to be a heavy emphasis on new construction for low and moderate incomes, which is great. But again, it's not going to serve most of the clientele at the Share Center. Most of our clients are not in a position for home ownership and desperately need affordable rental options, and they need it yesterday. And construction takes time, and we have a lot of people who need affordable housing rental options right now. And I know there might be a permanent supportive housing project going up in the near future, but quite frankly, its location is not very conducive for recovery. In fact, it's in the worst possible location in the city from a recovery perspective. So going into specifics, the proposed use of the 2025 CDBG funds, only about 15% is going to grants for service organizations. The need for case management and peer services keeps going up. We see it every year. And depending on how many organizations receive funding, this could end up being pretty small grants. If there were only 3 organizations, it would be a $60,000 grant for each organization. And that's not nothing, but we need more support than that to meet some of the needs in the community. And the tenant-based rental assistance program actually requires recipients to work with service organizations for case management. So we're going to need even more, support for those folks who are receiving TBRA. There's about $439, $110, 36% for rehab versus only $180,000 for service organizations. And that to me seems a little bit out of balance considering.
Robert, I'm sorry, but
darn it.
Time is up. But I appreciate everything
I
you do
had
for
some
our
really good
community.
stuff in here.
Thank you very much. Yes, sir.
Hello again. I represent one of the people that he represents, because I'm the lowest, most impoverished, most homeless person in this town. And I've been trying to get the help that he talks about, this big circle. I'm at the point where people want to cut me a check for a landlord, if anybody's a landlord here. I get 3 months. But also, that 3 months would help people in the winter. 'Cause, when I was out there in the winter, freezing my butt off, that 3 months would have got me through that whole winter. I wouldn't have been cold. I was cold for 3 months straight. You ever been cold for that long? Ever had a shower, not had a shower for a month? Try 3. And when was the last time you pooped yourself? Because there's no porta potties in this town that we can access at night. None. Unless we want to go to a construction zone way up on the hill. That's a problem for us. Where's all the poop go? Don't drink the water.
Thank you for your comments.
Mike King, I'm the Executive Director for Battle Creek Area Habitat for Humanity. Don't throw stones, but I actually do not reside in the city. However, I have a heart for the city. And I just want to say my appreciation from the community development group here in the city that they have helped to fund 2 of our home builds that we're building in Urbandale. Battle Creek Habitat for Humanity builds affordable housing, and we provide that housing for people who normally wouldn't be able to afford a typical mortgage. And so Habitat helps to bridge the gap between the funding and the people being able to buy the home. So that with Helen's money that we were able to use this year, we are building 2 homes in Urbandale. And we have 2 families that will be purchasing those homes. They would not be able to afford them, without Habitat's help because they're low income. The proceeds from those 2 homes will actually help to fund our next home that will also be beginning in a few weeks, actually. And then the proceeds from that home will help to fund half of another home in the future. So the funding from community development is actually stretching over the course of a couple years, actually. So I just want to mention that one of the reasons that housing is not being built in the city of Battle Creek is because for the homes that we build, the average builder would cost about $260,000, we figure, or $280,000 to build the homes that we are building. Now, Habitat, because of our volunteer labor and because of gifts in kind, we're able to build these homes for around $150,000. And these homes are appraising around $175,000. So if you look from a builder's perspective, they don't want to build a home for $280,000 and then sell it for $175,000. They would lose money. And so therein lies the problem. So we hope that we are just a small part of the solution, and there needs to be many other parts, but hopefully we're doing our little portion. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike, and we appreciate everything you're doing out there in Urbandale. Yes, yes. Jill Anderson, I'm sorry. Sorry.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm speaking on behalf of Robert Elkhart, so I'm finishing up the rest of his speech here. Also, I wanted to point out that I am a previously homeless person, which seems maybe not the normal person that you would expect. Also, I want to help, I want to thank the money that's been used from this for addressing the house that I lived next door to, which had, it's the cat house with the 19 cats. So we've had dumpsters and clean out and whatnot that I think came from this block grant. So thank you very much for that. So the point of what I'm reading here is that we need to invest more money in helping the chronically homeless. So picking up where Robert left off, by investing in our most vulnerable community members, we can address several problems at the same time. There's great return on investment in that municipalities are spending less money on law enforcement, hospitalizations, and jails through housing, reduce homelessness and issues related to homeless presence, And focusing on home building and home repairs is great, but very expensive and does not meet the needs of the chronically homeless. Another point is the proposed use of the 2025 and previous year's home investment partnership funds. There was heavy emphasis on new construction versus the TBRA might be a little out of balance, so $600,000 versus $98,000. Homeless prevention strategies are desperately needed because over 40% of the households in Calhoun County are financially unstable. Also, it's easy to fall into homelessness, but very hard to get out, usually requires additional investments, and that was true for me as well. The lowest rent in Battle Creek is $678 per month for one bedroom at Liberty Commons. So this TBRA, $98,000, this would help about 100 to 140 households for 1 month, yet there are over 1,200 people who interface with HMIS each year. Another point, no funds for utility assistance, although this is an eligible expense for TBRA. No funds for application fees. This is an insurmountable barrier for many of our clients, nullifying other assistance efforts. Down payment assistance is also needed. We need more. And Robert says he supports taking some of the funds from 2025 HIP new construction and putting them into rental assistance, security deposits, and application fees because it will have a greater impact. And there's another $489,357 for new construction from previous year's HIP funds. In conclusion, Robert supports, and I'll support him as well, in finding a better balance between service organization grants and home rehab dollars. Thank you.
Thank you, Jill, for your comments. Are there any other comments? Yes, Kathy, and then we'll go to the gentleman in the second row.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I am in support of what Robert and Jill have said, and I'm going to try and blast through my comments because I thought I had 4 minutes. So under Title I, the Housing and Community Development Act of '74 requires the city to prepare this plan that describes how the city will allocate community block grant money and home investment partnership funds to meet the needs of low and moderate income people in Battle Creek. So that's the first emphasis. First, I'm concerned that the federal government and their wacky times right now are going to give us less money than we estimated, and thus money is going to be subtracted from the city's minor home repair and the tenant-based rental assistance program. So I'm really worried about that. I strongly agree that the use of the funds should support neighborhood planning councils and code compliance. Jim mentioned some of the NPC's benefits. I believe the proper use of code, the proper use by the code department can be a most effective means of stopping neighborhood decline. But more importantly, I think code compliance can help improve a neighborhood's physical qualities. I was going to mention some great stuff about Eric Morris, our current code guy in Urbandale. He just rocks the house. When he sees a house that has a problem, he knocks on the door and says, hey, I can hook you up with resources that help you fix this problem, as opposed to just slapping a fine on their house. And I applaud Eric for that. I'm a very strong proponent of the city's minor home repair program. I personally know of 4 families who have used the funds to improve the long-term stability of their houses. 2 people put new roofs on, which keeps that house from getting any crappier. They also, one person put in some sort of a front porch rampy thing to allow more physical access to their home. And also 2 families had furnaces put in. Really, come on, you got a bunch of kids and you need a furnace. This home improvement thing saved their lives this past winter. Infill housing. Okay, hello, really? Like, it's unlike new housing developments. Infill housing has the infrastructure already in place. All your electric, your gas, your water lines, your police, your emergency services, they're all ready and hooked up, ready to rock and roll. It stabilizes neighborhoods and it requires no expansion of infrastructure. But we must lose the idolization of this of this darn single-family homes ideal, right? Tiny homes, duplexes, triplexes, and small multi-family dwellings all can be properly situated in our neighborhoods to improve the housing situation that we currently are facing. Please expand your view of what infill housing means to include more styles and unit sizes that can be incorporated into our existing neighborhoods.
Kathy, good job.
Crap.
Thank you. Okay, yes, sir.
Gerald Croissant, 148 East Michigan. I'm a CLC homeless representative. I've been for about 9 years. I've seen things going on in this town. It's not right. Homelessness is growing. A lot of people are living by paycheck. And also one thing, these Social Security people, they only get $900 and some odd a month. All of it's got to go towards their rent. I don't think that's right. Because that's, you know, what they're going to get something to eat or something, a medical bill, it'll kill them. But we need more affordable housing in the Battle Creek area. Tiny houses, I'm an advocate for. In Battle Creek, it's 400 square feet of housing. Why can't we shrink it down to about 300, even 250? Get some of these tiny houses. Get people off the streets. That's something that could be simple. A tiny house I seen online for maybe $20,000, $15,000. That's, we got Kmart parking lot. It's been sitting empty for 5 years or better. And they're supposed to build apartments there, and over at the old National Guard Armory and right up here on Michigan. It's been sitting for 5 to 7 years on the plate. Not a shovel's been turned yet. It's time for us to get people housed. If I was somebody coming in for a job, you know, build a company, I'll look for 3 things: housing, people, and transportation. 2 out of the 3. Not very good. That's the truth. We need to get housing in this town. $1,000 a month of rent, and somebody's on SSI. It's not going to cut it. A lot of people are going to live out on the streets. And I was part of the people out there on the pit count. And I want to thank the officers that were out with us, because they did a good job. Because the numbers are going to go up. That's a sad reality. Thank you.
Thank you, Gerald.
Also I want to say, God bless the people. I've been here before, and even the new people. Thank you.
Thank you, Gerald. Yes, David?
I'm a little slow on this, and there's a lot of people who are slow, and a lot of people are really educated and some are not. We got mental problems and physical problems, and people are not educated. It's just, a lot of people have reading problems. There are people who's got problems that are hard to understand. We just figure a way we got to figure out individually the way a person thinks and what their problems really are. And that's, I hope I know what I'm talking about here tonight, but that's the thing we need to be concerned about, that people don't, it's an individual problem. It could be where a person needs a lot of help. So I can't educate on this as much I can say, but that's what I got to say for right now.
Thank you, David. Reese Atkins.
Good evening, Reese Atkins, 84 South 23rd Street. This touches me very dearly because I've mentioned on this before. If we're going to give this funding to organizations, which do we need to? Yes, we do, okay? But let's stop letting these organizations say, okay, we'll give you funds, but then if you still need help because you're still struggling, we're not going to give you no more help for 18 months. It is ridiculous that you sit here and say, we want to help homeless, we want to get them into houses, but yet you've got organizations that are putting people back out on the street and be homeless. We have until the 26th of this month to come up with almost $1,000 to stay where we're at. Otherwise, the sheriff will be knocking on the door and we'll be out there on the homeless. My wife, thank goodness, was able to get a job, but that job ain't paying enough to pay what we need to pay to stay where we're at. Because there is no such thing as affordable housing in Battle Creek. We are paying $750 for a 2-bedroom house that is full of unwanted pets, unwanted and things that you don't want in your house, and we can't find anything affordable. We can't find anything cheaper, and as of the 26th, we will be out on the street because Neighborhood Inc. says we can't help you anymore because you have to wait 18 months before you get help again. If we're going to do this, and if we're going to give these people money, we need to tell them you give it to them as they need it and don't put an 18-month requirement that we have to wait before we can get any more help and put people out on the street and become more homeless. Thank you.
Thank you, Reese. Yes, ma'am.
Good evening, Commissioners and Mayor. My name is Whitney Wardell. I am the President and CEO of Neighborhoods, Inc. of Battle Creek. I'm here today to speak specifically about the tenant-based rental assistance program, in which we are a recipient of those funds. As a few of my colleagues and fellow community members have mentioned today, again, NIBC being a recipient, we have received over $233,000 in previous allocations to serve our community and to help people become rehoused if they are experiencing homelessness or financial hardship. Under previous allocations, we have been able to serve at least 40 households in getting them rental assistance for 12 months under previous allocations. With our most recent allocation, we are still working through that grant, but we have had stipulations put on the grant agreement where we now can only assist people with anywhere from 3 to 6 months at a maximum for rental assistance. So I would like to, again, come to the City Commission to ask and have conversation about extending some of those grant terms. And also possibly bringing in dollars and reallocating funds to the CDBG funds that we've received previously to help those who are currently experiencing rental arrears to help keep them from facing homelessness again. In this new consolidated plan, I noticed that there is an allocation, as mentioned, of $98,000. That is not nearly enough funds to assist the amount of people that need assistance in this community. So again, I urge City Commission to relook at that budget and see if there are other ways that you can reallocate funds to those who really need those services in our community. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. We appreciate it. Dan Jones?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Daniel Jones. I live at 128 Mingus Forest Lane here in Battle Creek. Good evening, Commissioners, and Mr. Mayor, thank you. I'm here tonight on behalf of and to speak for some of the extremely low-income individuals and families in our city who are experiencing homelessness, addiction, and deep instability. These are the clients of the Haven of Rest, where I'm the Executive Director, right across the street. But first, let me begin with gratitude for the monies here, and we are thankful that the City of Battle Creek continues to prioritize support for nonprofit service organizations like the Haven through this CDBG funding. These funds do make a critical difference, not just for the Haven, but for the hundreds of people, the thousands of people we serve each year who are working to rebuild their lives. You know, at the Haven, we don't just provide shelter. We walk alongside people in crisis, offering recovery programs, job and life skills training, case management, and spiritual care, all with the goal of helping each person stabilize and ultimately return to permanent housing. And we know that homelessness is really not that singular issue. It's a symptom of a deeper problem. It's deeply connected to trauma, poverty, mental health, and addiction. And we've seen firsthand how comprehensive care, wrapping your arms around all of these problems, and consistent support can lead to lasting transformation. That's why tonight I'd really love to encourage this commission to go a little bit further. Go further. As you look at this long-term picture of housing and human services in Battle Creek, I would really ask you to consider what a dedicated funding source bigger than this CDBG could look like. Maybe even a local millage or reallocation of some taxes, of property taxes. And I pay for that as well. And what that could mean for a fight against homelessness. We've seen our neighbors in Kalamazoo County take this step. And while I know that the idea of taxes is never easy, and again, I say that as a city resident myself, I also know that the cost of inaction is far greater. And Robert mentioned that in terms of hospitalizations, in incarcerations, and in lives lost, literally. When we invest in the right services up front, like the programs at the Haven, like the programs at the Share Center, like the programs at neighborhoods, we save lives. We reduce strain on emergency services, and we create stronger, more stable community for everyone. I want to thank you for your time tonight. Thank you for your leadership in this area and for your commitment to those who are often unseen and unheard. We look forward at the Haven to working together to make sure every Battle Creek resident has a real path towards stability, dignity, and a permanent home. Thank you.
Dan, thank you for your comments very much. Are there any other public comments at this time on this public hearing? Yes, John Kennefick.
John Kennefick, 234 South Avenue. Block grant dollars are also used for the code department. The average cost from 23 years ago to today is somewhere around $450,000 a year, not including the administration of that department. That's another cost of HUD dollars. You created what was called systematic code block by block back in the early 2000s. It was supposed to be done in a 2-year period, which means it would have cost the taxpayer, federal government, the taxpayers, about $950,000, $900,000. The first, that would mean they have to do it within a 2-year period. The first year they did 4% at $450,000. They did the next year at 4% of the population or the area, $900,000 spent. They keep right on going. You talk about the homeless. They basically didn't go after the homeless. They helped create homeless by attacking people that had homes but couldn't afford to keep them up to the standards of the government of Battle Creek and their time frames. This has been going on for a long time, and I'm a little tired of it. We've lost more than 240,000, apologize for that. More than 240 houses have been demolished. I know houses that were in good shape were demolished. People lived there, they moved out, and that place over on High Street, gone. You're part of the problem, not the solution. This is going to continue on, and I want to mention just a couple other things. We talk about block grant dollars, and it comes from the federal government. Well, if you follow this, you would know that the federal government is $36 trillion in debt. And if you're a tax-paying citizen to the federal government, each individual tax-paying person in the entire United States owes back $323,000 for the debt the federal government's created, including this information that you're getting and this money they're getting from block grant dollars. You haven't solved your problem. You helped use federal governments to destroy the city of Battle Creek's housing. And just for informational purposes, when a code officer works at the code department and retires, you don't have to worry about federal government block grant dollars paying for his retirement. That's done by the pensions of city employees and the taxpayers that pay for those pensions. We have a number of those people that are no longer there. And I've seen people at a neighborhood planning council too that stated they went to help get money from block grant to build up their and repair their buildings, and they were turned down. How much debt do you want? You want to solve a problem? No, I don't think so. I think you are the problem. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Are there any other public comments at this time? Are there any other public comments? Yes, I'm sorry, ma'am, I didn't see you.
Rebecca Holmgren, 225 East Coolidge Avenue.
I don't live in the city, but I work in the city, and I was born and raised here. All of these people today had valid points. I want to say I would like to see more individual housing rather than apartments. I think citizens are more active and engaged when they own a property and keep it up or have helped to keep it up. That's a community thing also. I think our neighborhoods, maybe we don't talk to our neighbors enough to get help from them. Times are tough. They're going to be tougher, more than likely, according to what I see in the news nowadays. And I think we should be careful about depending on the federal government because that money could go on a whim. So we need to also come up with other ideas, at least sport them around just in case, emergency scenarios. So that's just what I want to say. I know there's a lot of plans for a lot of affordable housing and low-income housing, but they're in the form of apartments, which is good, not bad. You get a lot of housing in a shorter period of time. However, those people have no control of pretty much anything. You're under the auspices of an apartment complex. You can't plant a garden, well, maybe if you have a patio. I didn't come prepared, so this is just kind of off the top of my head. I also have a lot of concern about homelessness. It is rampant. It's concerning. I feel bad. I don't know what I can do to help, or if I can even do anything to help. But what we've done is not really working. So maybe we need to have, is there a place that people can get together and say, well, what about this? What about that? Have like, what do they call that? I've lost that. I used to call it a rap session when I was young. Brain pool, I don't know, idea, meeting, whatever the case may be. So that's just what I want to say. Other than that, thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Are there any other public comments at the public hearing? Yes. Cindy?
Wasn't going to speak. Cindy Fritz, 451 Main Street. I can remember back when I first joined MPC 1 Planning Council, and I was selected from the Planning Council to represent our area on the CDBG Fund Committee. At that time, we had over $200 million. I've seen that shrink down, and it was really tough. We would have meetings on a Saturday, and everybody would present their proposals. And those proposals were for public service, because there's so much money that is set aside, which is supposed to be for brick and mortar, kind of like what the city uses to help build up neighborhoods, housing, things like that. And then there was this small pot, and you know how hard it was to try to figure out who was going to get money, who was not going to get money. It was just a suggestion. We sent it to the city commission, and then sometimes it would be tweaked or whatever. There was always more need than what there is money. I think one of the good things that came out of when we used to meet like that, and we would have the hearing, and we would all sit behind, and we would talk, and it was like, this group is presenting this group is presenting that. Why can't they work together? I think more of these service groups have to work together so that we can maximize on the dollars. I know how the pot is split. It's very difficult, and you can tweak it a little, but you have regulations that you have to get, that you are regulated by the federal government by getting these grant dollars. And so the thing is you got to be really careful how you tweak it. I understand, and it's heartfelt for all these agencies and stuff like that, and it's really gut-wrenching where the need is here and the dollars are here. What we need to do is try to figure out how we can maximize, and if we can tweak it, we can tweak it, but I'm just thankful we're a city that actually gets some kind of dollars to work on our problems that we have. Thank you.
Thank you, Cindy. Any other public comments for the public hearing? One more time, any other public comments for the public hearing? I'll declare the public hearing closed. Move on to commission comment regarding meeting business.
I move to approve the consent agenda.
Support. It's been moved and supported to approve the consent agenda. Any comments by the commission? Are you there, Chris?
Yeah, I'm sorry, earlier I wasn't able to hear you when you were doing the roll call, so I am joining you remotely on military duty as allowed by state law. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. All right, here are no comments about the consent agenda. Please vote on the consent agenda. The consent agenda has been approved. Next item on our agenda is Resolution 110.
City of Battle Creek Transit has received a grant from the Federal Transportation Authority to purchase transit vans. This resolution, if approved, authorizes the interim city manager to execute contract number 2025-0102C for 4 transit vans in a not-to-exceed amount of $387,714.40 using competitive pricing obtained from the Michigan Department of Transportation, or MDOT, Office of Passenger Transportation, OPT, purchasing program and paid from GL number 588.596.6323.972020. The city manager or their designee may also approve change orders up to 10% in total for city-initiated and pre-approved additional features.
I move to approve Resolution 110.
Support. Been moved and supported to approve Resolution 110. Are there any comments by the commission? Commissioner LaCrosse.
I just wanted to confirm that this is funded by the Federal Transportation Authority, correct? I just wanted to make sure that everyone was aware of that.
Any other questions? Yeah, Commissioner Patrick O'Donnell.
I'm just happy to know that we're looking at different ways of getting some transportation in the city. Doing these micro vans and things which should help out with ease some of the congestion that we're having and problems of getting around this town. So thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other comments? Seeing none, would you please vote on Resolution 110? Resolution 110 has been approved. Next item on our agenda is Resolution 111.
In 2021, by Resolution 259, the Battle Creek City Commission authorized the execution of a 5-year lease agreement regarding C.O. Brown Stadium, its Bridge Street property, and associated parking facilities with Serial City Baseball, LLC, and the Northwood League, Incorporated. Lessees have requested that the lease be amended to extend the term of the lease through December 31, 2031, and that the lease be renewable for an additional 5 years from January 1, 2032 through December 31, 2036. This resolution, if approved, authorizes the interim city manager to execute a second amendment to the baseball stadium use, concession services, and building lease agreement with Serial City Baseball, LLC, and the Northwoods League, Incorporated.
Move to approve Resolution 111.
Support.
Been moved and supported to approve Resolution 111. Do we have any comments from the commission? Seeing none, would you please vote on Resolution 111? Resolution 111 has been approved. Next item on our agenda is Resolution 112. Madam Clerk.
In 2024, by Resolution 403, the Battle Creek City Commission approved execution of a concessionaire agreement with Serial City Concessions, LLC, to provide concession services at Bailey Park Serial City Concessions LLC has requested that the agreement be amended to parallel the term of the Bailey Park lease agreement, with the initial term ending on December 31, 2031, and with an option to renew for an additional 5 years through December 31, 2036. This resolution, if approved, authorizes the interim city manager to execute a first amendment to the concessionaire agreement with Serial City Concessions LLC.
I move for the approval of Resolution 112.
Support.
It's been moved and supported to approve Resolution 112. Are there any comments by the commission? Seeing none, would you please vote on Resolution 112? Resolution 112 has been approved. Next item on our agenda is Resolution 113.
This resolution, if approved, affirms the denial of FOIA request number 25-776.
I move to approve Resolution 113.
Support.
It's been moved and supported to approve Resolution 113. Are there any comments by the commission? Commissioner Cross.
I'm just trying to figure out exactly, do these five, I know that, we had someone come forward and say that there was this drive that existed. I just want to, I guess, reiterate that that does not exist. Not there?
What I can say is that as part of the process, my staff contacts the relevant city staff, other departments to request that they review their records and search for the records that are described in the request. That's what happened in this case, and what was reported back was that there was no such records that they could locate as described in the request. So the request was denied because the records as described did not exist.
So if they're looking for like cold case spreadsheets, I guess is what they're looking for, they need to know exactly where they're located, or do they just, I'd imagine there's some cold case files for the city.
I think the larger issue here is that essentially what they requested would have likely required a compilation or summary of existing records, but I didn't conduct the actual search, so I couldn't be sure.
Okay, thank you.
Any other commission comments or questions, concerns? Seeing none, would you please vote on Resolution 113? Resolution 113 has been approved. Next item on our agenda is general public comment. If you'd like to make general public comment regarding matters over which the city has control, please raise your hand and wait for us to acknowledge you to come forward to the podium. You'll have 3 minutes to make your comment. Please state your name and address prior to beginning your comments. Yes, ma'am.
Good evening. My name is Malia, and I live on Gardenia Street. So today I wanted to talk about our railroad crossing with Dickman and Main Street. There's potholes there, and I want to mention this so everyone understands. I go to Harbor Creek and Math and Science Center, so that's on my daily commute. And going there, I have to swerve around the potholes, and that has caused me to get in an accident. And I want to be safe, drive safe. But I do know that swerving around does cause issues, not only for me, but people that are trying to go around me when they really shouldn't be. And I just wanted to bring that to you all's attention because I know that it's caused accidents for more than just me, and a lot of people try to swerve around that, and it's a big issue. So, yes, thank you.
Maria, we acknowledge that there is a situation there. We're waiting on the railroad to fix their portion of the crossing. Okay. And we'll remind them again they have a responsibility, and hopefully we'll get that done. Thank you very much. David?
We'll get a little better one this time. Number one, two good proposals, real good ones. The 3 buses, I missed the last couple of weeks, and these city buses that we got to have is a necessity. I'm glad that was passed, and we're going to have 3 buses, I think we are. And the second one is our Balcony schools. I've been following high school sports for a number of years. This work they have for a seat down here at Battle Creek Central. We got 2 buses, 1 for the girls, 1 for the boys. And I think It used to be Battle Creek Central was the only good school in Battle Creek, but the last 10, 15 years, our AccessVision program has came a long ways and came well improved. Lakeview, Battle Creek Central, and Lakeview, all now are good schools. They're good AccessVision teams. And the thing I just want to say here, we say we're a budget, we ain't losing money. And we got administration now that's making several cuts. They're cutting everything. And these are necessities that we gotta have. I've been here, mentioned it a couple times. If we want a good city to grow, we gotta honor our city. We gotta have a good tax and good housing and good programs and a good school system. Keep a good city going. And we got good millage coming up for improvements, for repairing our schools. That's what this election is about. I went to the planning council last night and learned a little more about that. It was a good help to me last night. And these are necessities we gotta have. And these programs are just buses, and people's gotta get around. We gotta have transportation. That is a necessity. I hope I said something here in this comment. I did a little better than this first time. So I missed a couple of weeks here, and I couldn't get this comment last week. But
Thank you, David. Thank you. Any other public comments at this time? Yes, Autumn Smith.
Good evening, Autumn Smith. This is the document that they just said does not exist. Clearly, the police department is lying to you. Your detective bureau is lying to you. The cold case is lying to you. Shannon Bagley is lying to you. This document exists. There is nothing in there that is not public record or that could have been redacted like it is that cannot be shared publicly. The P drive exists. It is a secured server. The M drive exists. I told them where to find this. I don't usually FOIA stuff unless I know I'm right. And I'm right and you guys are wrong, and you're letting your police department hoodwink you. You're letting the city attorney hoodwink you. You didn't even give me proper notice of my hearing, which is a violation. So I'm not given the proper ability to question and answer like someone is supposed to be allowed to do in a hearing. So this is what you guys just said does not exist. BCPD cold case homicides, P drive secure server, records department, detective bureau, cold case room. Obviously, I would hope you have some way of keeping track of the cold cases so you could continue to work on them and hopefully get some justice for the people in this community. Other than that, you guys are lying to the victims if you're saying we don't even have a record of the cold cases. Either you were lying then, you're lying now, or you've got a police department, detective bureau, and police chief and attorney that are working hand in fist lying to the community. This is wrong. We deserve better. You guys just affirmed that this does not exist. Where did I get this? These are not my numbers. These are complaint numbers issued by the BCPD. I didn't make these up. I could read and read and read, but I've only got a minute left. So you guys are saying to the community, you do not keep track of cold cases. You do not have a detective assigned to do this. You do not keep them in the detective bureau. You do not have them in the records division. You guys don't even have a secured server. Be very interesting if an outside agency found this out, that you guys are conducting police business without a secured server. You know, this kind of stuff goes on the secured server. Doesn't mean everything on the secured server is FOIAble. That's correct. You are allowed to redact it. There is nothing on here that could not be released publicly. Nothing. You guys release this information to Channel 3 News. If there's a shooting on 123 Main Street, you say what happened, the victim's name, possibly who you thought, the gentleman, woman, whatever, left the scene. The complaint number was open, da-da-da-da. That's basically what this consists of. Shame on every single one of you. every single one of you, for all the victims in this community that have a loved one that is a victim of a cold case. And shame on you guys for lying to the community about this. This is outright fraud.
Thank you for your comments. Do we have any other public comments at this time? Yes, John.
John Kennefic, 234 South Avenue. At the last commission meeting, I had stood up here and I explained the poisoning of the wells out in Verona. And I have the document that I had read, and I gave you statistics, and in it says it's not an emergency, and things of that nature. And then it gives all the listing of the contamination that's far than greater than what the lower legal limit is in the state of Michigan for the health department. But when I first read this, I had sort of what you might call a flashback, because I had seen not something the same as this, but something similar some years ago. There was an auction in Scotts, Michigan of 38 acres. The person that was selling the property had a small knoll on that property, and on that knoll was a house and a Quonset hut pole barn. And in between those two structures was the well that gave him the water supply. He had cows, so he pitchforked the manure on the upstream side of his well, and which created a manure pond. So when they came to sell the property, the well itself was contaminated. And it was explained by the auctioneer during the sale that the minimum parts in Michigan for manure in your water, it's called nitrates, is 10 parts per million. The limit at this well was 12 parts per million. And it was also explained later on when I called the health department what nitrate does and the dangers of it. Pregnant women are not allowed to drink it. Young children are not allowed to drink it. Simply because if you drink this stuff, it stops the flow of oxygen in your blood supply from going to the places it needs to go. In other words, it's dangerous. But just like this document, the auctioneer said something really interesting. He was trying to sell the property. He says, well, you know, in Indiana, it's 14 parts per billion, or 14 parts per million. So I guess the 12 parts per million above the legal limit in Michigan is acceptable to drink. Now in here, it tells us a lot of different things. And in the last and third page, it says something really interesting. Let me quote roughly this. I consider anything that's poison in the water poison. The stuff in the water is called trihalomethane, methane, which is in our system right now. First top of the paragraph, total organic compounds is our source of water shows significant increases from 2022, which indicates there is a probable cause for this poison increases, which is now showing up years later. You knew it was doing that, you didn't do anything about it, you increased it, you were aware of it, and then you tell it's not dangerous. I noticed, and thank you for 4 of the people when I brought the water in that they drank the 9 containers that I brought in the last time. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Any other public comments at this time? Yes, Reese.
Good evening, Reese Atkins, 84 South 23rd Street. I just have a couple properties that I want to discuss a little bit. The first one being the Kmart lot that the City Commission has changed the tax exempt on it multiple times, supposedly for affordable housing. Nothing has even been started on it. I've been talking with Ted Daring. He has been very respectful and let me know what's going on. The other property that I'm going to speak on is the old junior high school over on Washington that has been boarded up for a while. It has been sold, from what my research has been, it's been sold 3 times to different organizations for supposedly being put into low-income housing, and has never happened. We have a lot of schools that are empty right now. The Kmart lot is empty. We need to look and see if we can't do a little bit of a better research, because I don't want to say job, okay, research with these people that are coming forward and saying, I need a tax exempt, I need loans, I need money to build affordable housing, promised to build them within 3 to 5 years and still ain't got nothing. Could they be done in affordable housing? Sure can. A lot of these schools can be. Last I knew, we had 5 schools that were empty. Okay, not just the junior high, but there's other ones like the one, Urbandale Elementary School. There's several others that are empty that could easily be turned into affordable housing. But we've got to get somebody that's willing to put the money into Battle Creek and not say, well, I need to tax exempt and not do anything. Let's look and see if we can't get somebody to turn these vacant lots and these properties into affordable housing. I would go for it all day long. Thank you.
Thank you, Reese. Any other public comments at this time? Hearing none, do we have any commission comments this evening? Commissioner Patrick O'Donnell.
Oh, thank you, Mayor. I just want to say thank you. Earlier, we had the NPC Awards for the Beautiful Battle Creek Awards, and there's another award coming out with people that just because they don't own property, they're still helping out the town, and I know MPC 1 was working on that, like a Battle Creek Champions Award, so I really thank them for looking into showing and showcasing some of our great citizens in the area, and look forward to seeing what they're going to bring forward to us. Big event this week, I hear, is there's going to be a cheese event, so I kind of miss Commissioner Smith over here with once in a while. I channel him. He's probably out there watching, but just to let people know what community events are coming up with the big cheese coming in downtown. But one thing that really gets to me is next Friday, though. Again, thank you for recognizing Arbor Day. Todd does a great work for the city and making sure that our parks, I've gotten some more great comments about how the parks have been getting cleaned up, getting ready for summer. So all I got to say is just get outside and enjoy the town. So thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Reynolds?
Yes. Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to give condolences and prayers to the Ava Hart and Thomas family. Santa Thomas worked here for the city of Battle Creek for many years. Marcy, do you know how many years? I know it's a lot of years. 30 or more? Yes, 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 yes. So I just wanted to say something to the family and wish them the best.
Thank you, Commissioner Carla Reynolds. That's very kind of you. Any other? Chris Simmons, do you have a comment to make?
Sure. First off, I want to thank the staff that helped accommodate me on the remote participation in the meeting. I'm glad I was able to attend because I really appreciated all the comments that we had on the public hearing for the CDBG funds. You know, it does bring me to CDBG really won't surface for many of the issues that we have in the city. And I think if we threw every single dollar of that to one problem, it still probably wouldn't solve those problems. So we do our best. Helen and her team do their best to allocate that responsibly to make the most impact that we're able to. You know, the minor home repair program does amazing things. I hope you all had an opportunity to read the report that I put together after attending the National Association of Housing and Redevelopment Officials Conference in Washington, D.C. here last month. I attended along with some representatives of the Battle Creek Housing Commission, and there was quite a bit of discussion about homelessness and things that we can do to help with that. But I liked the comments earlier from Kathy Antea. And then another person, like, we need to do all of the above. We need to provide housing for homeless. We need low and moderate. We need high income. We need single family. We need multifamily. We need it all. We need permanent supportive housing. That's not something the city, even with a millage, would ever be able to do on its own. We have to, you know, at some point we have that on our plate right now with the city manager's election, but eventually I really want to see us come together with all of those providers in the community, nonprofits, government, business, builders, our economic development officials, and have a housing summit. at some point or another, I think the city might even need a housing czar that can help coordinate, because it's going to be all of the above, and it's going to be all of these entities that need to be involved in that. We had a great discussion at MPC 3 this past week. Commissioner LaCrosse was there about housing, and it kind of stemmed out of the plan from the Beckley Road Corridor, the Lakeview Downtown Development Plan, and folks were really interested and engaged in that, and we need to do more of that. And so I look forward to discussing this in the very near future, and hopefully making some progress working together with all these entities in our community. Again, thanks for the remote accommodations.
Thank you, Commissioner Simmons. Any other comments? Commissioner LaCosse?
I just wanted to say thank you for everyone and their comments too about the CDBG grants. We definitely have a need, to provide more for our homeless population. I think Kathy's idea was great about the tiny houses, duplexes, triplexes. I think we should really take a look at that. I also wanted to point out Brittany Dowdy. I don't know where you are, if you can raise your hand over there. She's the fundraiser coordinator for the Junior Bearcat football program, and I don't know if anyone saw the article in the Shopper recently, but her son Bentley had asked apparently about giving back, and he's 9 years old right now, so they kind of came up with this idea to raise money for the Detroit Lions camp. It costs $249 for each kid that attends this camp, and a lot of people can't afford that right now. So Brittany had a birthday coming up, so they kind of did a contest where it was if you want to donate $9 to the son versus donate $29 to the mom. So they had this contest going. I know they were able to send 25 kids last I knew, which is amazing. She's still raising money for it, so if anyone wants to get in touch with her, her number is 616-427-4608.
Thank you, Commissioner LaCosse. Any other comments? Thank you very much for a very productive meeting. This meeting's adjourned.